All right, this video may be weird to most people. I already know it, but I gotta make this video. Like, you need to understand that this list was so flipping hot. Like, I was on the bus clapping. Like, and I'm in Japan, so they just looking at me like, what WTH? I'm telling you, this list, I'm very sorry if you're used to just seeing my webtoon videos. I still got those coming and popping. It's just, I have to make this video. That's how good this band list was. So let's get into it. So who am I for all those who probably have just seen this video or probably just here for the Yugioh video? My name is the 25th Genius. I specialize in webtoons and webtoon related content that is on my channel. I do live stream Duel Links, and I am a very avid and addicted Duel Links player, so I keep up with the game as well, but mostly my channel is about webtoons. Now, if this video does do well, and if you want some Yu-Gi-Oh content, I can definitely make that and pop that for you. But as of time being, I'm just making this video because I was so happy and excited for this ban list that it just came to me. I just must do this video. So in this video today, I'm going to explain all the cards that are in the ban list. I'm going to explain why those cards are on this ban list and basically just my thoughts and opinions. I'll try to keep this video as short as possible, but it'll be very hard because there's a lot of things to actually talk about within this video. And if you like this video and what I do, make sure you leave a like and subscribe because it helps the struggling content creator a lot. We've been doing good on gaining subscribers, so I really thank you all for actually subscribing to the channel. Again, this is a lot of fun. You know, we have a good time, and there's a Discord or whatever if you want to join that, but I'll leave that up to you. Let's get into it. So I'm going to first talk about the skills and explain why these skills were nerfed. So we're going to start off with Restart. And Restart, honestly, is a garbage skill. I don't care what really people say. It is a very garbage skill. This is why it's a garbage skill. Restart enables you to basically reset your hand if you don't like your hand. The downside is you must skip your next draw phase. This is terrible, especially when you're going first, because in recent Yu-Gi-Oh, you cannot draw on your first turn. Unlike most typical card games of the new age, you can. And generally gaining advantage, especially going as a first turn player, is very important. And you're trading that advantage for a skill to risk getting more of what you don't want. This skill didn't really need to be nerfed. The deck that needed to be nerfed was Carter Curry, which was the main card that was playing this. So the reasons why Carter Curry were playing this is because their deck was plenty powerful, but if they didn't hit their two low-level monsters, which hopefully I show up on the screen, the deck really basically fell short, and you can consider that you bricked. So what a lot of players did is that they used Restart. So basically it improved their chances of getting those cards that they need so they can go off and perform their skills. Restart also didn't matter because they have a continuous spell card that enables them to draw two basically just by doing what they do best, change battle positions. So technically you had 6 pot of greeds with a deck that was hyper aggressive, and then with the new support you just negated things because you could. The skill didn't need to be banned. The flipping Carter Curry needed to be banned. I've never liked Restart. Restart is literally the skill that you just have. And the way that they hit it was very aggressive too. Like, it's like they foresaw this being a problem with other decks and they just said kill it. So the only way this skill is actually viable is if you run a mismatch of spells and traps into your deck, which basically probably be about a 30 card deck, which is the only thing that they're allowing with this skill. This skill, again, it's really not that good. Again, just the one deck that was really abusing it, and I guess they just saw that how it was going to be for others, and yeah, that's pretty much it. The next is Switcheroo, and I knew this skill was going to be nerfed because this skill is absolutely broken, especially in current Yu-Gi-Oh, in which just having one card can change the entire game. This skill has been nerfed so many times in recent years of Yu-Gi-Oh! And it doesn't surprise me that it's going to get nerfed some more. And it was very deadly, especially in a deck called Invoke Neos, which we're going to get into in a bit. So I'm really happy that this skill is gone. They did a good job on nerfing it. It was just not really healthy. It just, enabled you to just advantage off for no reason, especially with the invoked Neos version of the deck. You're enabled to, oh, what do you call it? Like, go, like, use your volcanic shell, pay that life points, and then use the volcanic shell you added to get something better. It was just too broken. It really helped with the consistency a lot with invoke Neos, and I'm glad this skill is gone. Now, Bandit, I don't really understand why this skill was hit. I never seen Bandit, and the main thing I generally play in Yu-Gi-Oh is rank duels, and I've never really truly seen this skill being used. Maybe they're foreseeing something what happened with Bandit, but I personally have never seen it. So maybe if you're watching this video, you know why Bandit has been hit. So please leave a comment down below about why Bandit's hit. I personally just do not understand. Now, Shadow Game. Yes, I feel like the restrictions to Shadow Game is fair. The issue with Shadow Game with me was that no matter what, someone was going to die. And it really put a lot of pressure in a duel, knowing that you have to play your cards right, or one of you are going to lose no matter what. You can't even stall it out. It's like you can literally play the game for maybe 80 turns and it doesn't matter because someone will eventually lose, even if it's 100 life points per turn. So I'm really glad about the restriction to kill it from not killing each other. Because no one was really safe. Even the opponent that used Shadow Game was not safe from its own skill. So I'm very happy. This is a fair nerf. It's still very usable. And, you know, people think that nerf skills are not usable, but this skill is very usable. They just basically said that, you know, we don't want to promote stall decks that don't really enable you to play the game, all while we don't really want a lot of pressure on you. So I think this was a very good nerf and a very good effectiveness. Again, it's fair. Now, Access Denied. Now, this skill, it's not fair because the real reason why Access Denied is banned is because of a card called Star Blast. And Star Blast is really a bad card. But Star Blast works because it enables you to do the one thing that Yu-Gi-Oh has been trying to that's generic, which is basically lose a lot of life to activate your skills. The game of Yugioh Duel Links is balanced by the coupling factor that you need to lose some life points to activate your skills. So your opponent has to attack into you, or something has to happen. You have to attack into your opponent to get your amazing skills. Now, what Star Blast did, it just cheated that, and it enabled you to basically pay a bunch of life, high level monster, call it out, and then you get your skills. Which is why another skill called Ojama Overflow is being hit too, because there was a deck that used Gear Free Pound. So basically you Star Blast, Gear Free Pound. When your life is low, you summoned a lot of tokens that your opponent could not do anything with. Then you went and you go into the pound. The pound discards a card, goes for another attack. Your opponent can't do anything. You lose. So the real reason why these two skills are being hit is because of Star Blast. And they really did a good job at making sure that these skills are just not even viable, which it is a little sad because, you know, you make these amazing skills for your card game to only make them unplayable at best. And it's not fair, especially for Access Denied, because Access Denied really wasn't that strong. It was only just heightened because of a card like a Star Blast. Show of Nightmares. Yes, I knew this skill would get hit. It was too effective in generating the advantage that Witchcrafters had. Witchcrafters doesn't feel like a top tier deck, but I guarantee you it is a high level top tier deck. I mean, on Duel Links meta they have it like 2, but it's really a 1 deck. Once Foray gets out on the field, your whole game is literally about focusing on getting rid of that Foray, because you really can't play the game unless that girl is gone. And then even if you get rid of it, then players have ways to get it back. They'll just summon another Foray. It was a very annoying, but Show of Nightmares really helped in getting the advantage and consistency that Witchcrafters needed to pop off. So again, I'm glad this skill is nerfed. It's not a +1 anymore. Again, very good on Konami's part. Now, there are other skills like Afterlife, Moth of Flame, and Red Eyes Fusion. For the sake of this video and the length of time, I'm going to talk about Red Eyes Fusion because I actually really like Red Eyes. And I'm hoping in Zexal World that they're going to give us new and better support for it, because I just really like Red Eyes. It's a good deck. It's very powerful. It hits hard. but the fusion is, especially in this current metagame, it's really not doing much, especially with cards that just really don't target, like Cybernetic Overflow and Fortunate Lady. This deck really just doesn't do a lot. So I'm really interested to see the other cards, which I already researched, and they look really good, especially with Ixies. So I really hope these bad boys come into the play, and this is a really good way. I like the fact that they're strengthening Red Eyes Fusion because they strengthened another skill called Ultimate Dragons, which is perfectly balanced. It doesn't need to be nerfed. It's just a really good and very strong and powerful way to play Blue Eyes. You get the twin. The twin is so good. The twin is just your answer to everything. It can be the answer to Saber Dancer. It's just the answer to Varay. It is your answer. So I really like the twin. The twin is just as good as the Neos, and it's very easy to summon out. And even if you don't have polymerization, you can just pop 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons, put them in, and you are good to go. So that is all the skills. So I want to talk about the monsters because this is the main reason why I made this list, because I felt that Konami personally did an amazing job doing what they did with this list. So let's get into it. We have our first ever forbidden cards, and this is like a warning. A lot of people felt like, oh, well, they shouldn't have banned these cards, but this is really a warning. Basically, Konami is saying, we don't care about your money at this point. And it's when Yugioh, the more involved Yugioh gets in Duel Links, I feel like the more that they're going to trend on this, because it's really not fair for a card game that the answer that you're seeking is not really doing the nerfs and the leaks. It's really just freaking just banning the darn cards that were the cause of it in the first place. And so I'm really happy that these cards are banned, especially Grass Looks Greener. This is very important because, and Konami said it best, this card will be forbidden as it is capable of giving the user an advantage to an extent that victory is almost certain. I completely agree. It's like once they hit that Grass Looks Greener, you lose. And going through it with Witchcrafters, Shiranui, that broke Shiranui deck with like the Laval counter trap spell, like all of that stuff, like seriously. Grass Looks Greener just needed to be banned. And I agree. If there was any card that was going to be banned on the list first, I would definitely agree with Grass Looks Greener. It is perfectly acceptable. This is a very good and satisfying ban that just needed to happen. Now, it's not fair because there are some decks that do benefit off of Grass Looks Greener, but it's just the top tier decks, including in this metagame, are just too strong. And this is also a sign that they may bring other stuff that utilizes the graveyard. And so they basically just want to get Grass Looks Greener out of the gate. Like, it seemed like a good idea, but then when people started actually practicing and putting it into practice, then the card is just too broken. Even with a skill, like, you still, had to, do other things, and you can get your grass. So the best answer wasn't hitting it to 1. The best answer was banning the darn card off the bat, and that is what they did. Now, Cyberstein doesn't seem like it should be banned, but no, it needs to be banned. There was a really troll deck. So let me explain it. You played as Taya Gardner, Mako Tsunami, or somebody with Loft cost 0, okay? So the deck's basic, especially if you go turn 1, is to gain a lot of life and basically just rush your deck to search for your Cyberstein. Cyberstein has the ability, if you pay 5,000 life points, you get to search for fusion and summon it. So a lot of players did. They summoned, they paid 5,000 after gaining a lot of life after searching through Cyberstein. Cyberstein paid 5,000 to bring out Ojama King. Now, Ojama King is weak, but his ability is super strong. He basically says lock 3 of your opponent's back monster zones, and they cannot summon monsters on them as long as this card is on the field. Then you think it was over, and it's not, because then Loft cost 0 goes into play, in which if your life points are at 1,000 or less, you are allowed to pay the cost of one thing without paying its card cost. So then you use Cyberstein again to bring out something just as broke, and you sit there and your opponent should scoop because they can't even play the game. And the sad part is this deck is very strong, but honestly, this deck like was just used as a meme, which I never understood. I never understood a top tier deck that was only used for a meme. A lot of people just use it on the ladder just to mess with your opponents, but this deck was very extremely competitive, even winning like a tournament at a big competitive like event like Duel Links Meta. So this deck just its power, I just really don't understand it, but it definitely needs to be banned. Cyberstein is a problem, especially with its use of Ixies and everything coming. Cyberstein is just not good for the game as of moment. Oh, and there's fun fact. So they did limit it at 1. But the issue was, it wasn't that limited at 1 hurt it. Players just found a new way to get out. Cyberstein. So what they would do is they would play cards like Downbeat, or they would just draw their deck faster, or they would play Draw Sense low level. Basically, the point was gain a lot of life and get your Cyberstein, and players just found ways ultimately to get their Cyberstein. So, and then after all of that, then they just go and then they proceed to kill you. So now let's look at the limited ones. Now this was good. So I knew this. Star Blast got limited. Now, the reason why Star Blast got limited is what I said earlier. It's not that it's a very broken card, but it just has the ability to help you pay for skills that you really just don't need, especially in the current meta game. Again, this is a really strong card, and it really does synergize with a lot of decks, which really surprised me. So it makes no wonder why Star Blast is getting hit to 1. I feel like they should just ban the card, especially since it is a free-to-play card. But again, I won't judge Konami. Now, Nettlebug Nest. Now, this card enables you to basically just send 5 cards. So why is this getting limited to 1, if you don't say? Well, not only did the deck that used this place top 1 global in the latest KC Cup, but in addition, this is played in Shiranui. So basically, you would just play this, you kneel 5, and you gain a ton of advantage, and you basically just plus off that advantage with other things that are in your deck. But no other top tier deck really used it. It is just Nettlebug. But Nettlebug does give you advantage as if drawing 5 cards, which says so directly in the piece. Now, Revival Gift may confuse you about why they're restoring Revival Gift. And it's actually quite easy once I think about it. Basically, Revival Gift, there's a skill called Into the Void. And basically what this skill does is that it gives you an Infernity Doomslinger, which you should only use in an Infernity deck, but just keep patient with me here. Then what you would do after you would set up, you would do your Neos Fusion, which I'm glad we'll talk about that later. And basically you get a token and you give your opponent 2 tokens. Now, this doesn't sound so bad, but these tokens really can't be used for anything, and they clog up your space, so you can't even go for power plays. And then this allows your opponent to gain a lot of advantage to then go into Purgatrio to then basically just screw you over. Like, Revival Gift is just the same as Give and Take. Those are cards that just need to just be out of the game, period, because they just don't add anything, and they are not fun cards. Now, let's get into the semi-twos. And man, this is a duty. So first we have our Gold Sarcophagus. And so Gold Sarcophagus is simple. You basically just you banish 1 card from your deck. And when the second turn is over, you basically, you know. So Gold Sarcophagus is really good. And it was at 3 at one point. But now they're going to put it to 2 because they want to put the next one that I have up here. Charge of the Light Brigade. Now, this was to be expected. I do feel like on Konami's plus side that they gave people, a huge chance to, see what they're capable of and to really seek the environment. So, again, that is just very, very good. Again, Charge of Light Brigade is just a card that just needed to be hit. They tried being nice, hitting it to 3. People kept using it and abusing it, so they just said, we'll just raise it to where only, at a certain part. So, again, Charge of Light Brigade, Ghost Sarcophagus, good reasons why they are being hit. The Light Sworn Engine is just very abusive. And then we have the Karakuri Girl, which I don't know anything about. And this is kind of fair because if you think about it this way, you really want the other dude, but if you think about it this way, um, the fact that they're hitting this, you know, especially getting that extra normal summon, it is going to hurt uh just a little. But again, it's just, you know, that type of thing. Now, Dragon of Keeper Magic. I was very surprised at this. They're basically saying we don't care about invoked Neos anymore, and basically that is just phased out of existence. Dragon of Keeper of Magic was really good for fishing out your dictionaries. I'm sorry, your fusion spell cards. It was good for doing that, but now it won't be able to do that um with other things. So I'm happy to know that Dragon of Keeper Magic and Neos Fusion were definitely both are on the limited 2 list. That is very good. It is a warning sign that they want things to change and things to happen. I understand that. Now, Black Wing Clothes. Now, I am a very skilled Black Wing player, and I think this is fair. Black Wings is the deck in which if they go second, they pretty much win if you don't have a lot of English to do. So this is really good. Blackbird Clothes. I do get worried because it's like it's no way to not play everything else but Blackbird Clothes. They're literally just telling us to just get rid of Blackbird Clothes because there's really just no way at this point. Is that it? So, yeah, pretty good. Now, finally, Witchcrafter Holiday. So they moved these cards up to 3. Now they just said, forget it, it's still too strong. And now they got it up to 2. And it's just going to go along with Lightsworns because the Lightsworn engine is too broken. And then finally, this is the reason why I made this entire video. This piece of crap is hit. I am very happy that this card is hit. This card was just a mistake that just really didn't need to happen. It's too versatile, too easy. Like, this card is so strong. It is absolutely, positively ridiculous how strong this is. And again, I'm just very happy that this is gone. Can continue my life in peace. So that is a very good thing. Like I said, the main decks that this hits is called Element Sabers, which, you know, is extremely strong, extremely powerful. So it'll be very hard. But again, Invoker at 3 is definitely what the game needed. The game will feel less stressful. It will feel more kind and everything else. So again, it sucks for the people who actually got 3 copies of each, but at least you're able to rock one and be a good student. And the other things that are on the list is Dragon Dark and Malo, which of course don't need to because you hit everything else. And that is my video on the ban list of 2020. If you like these types of videos, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye.